In today's video, I'm sharing with you the exact plan I used to get a job in less than 60 days from the time I was laid off. You ready? If you want to hit the plan directly, go to this timestamp below. If not, let's keep going. So on the morning of August 28th, which was a Thursday, the HR manager at my last role said she wanted to talk to me at around 4:15 that afternoon. Now, I scheduled to leave my job at 4:30. I was also taking a long weekend because I was going upstate to see my daughter. So I knew what was up. And if you don't know what that means, if at any time your HR person wants to talk to you right before you're expected to leave for the day or the weekend, you are most likely cooked. You are most likely getting terminated, laid off, whatever it is. It's not good news. They don't share good news with you at the end of the week, at the end of the day. They give you that information right at the beginning. That doesn't mean you can't get fired or terminated at the beginning of the day, but let me tell you, it is a 95% chance you are getting let go from your job if they schedule a meeting with you at the end of your day. At 4:15, she came up, we went into my boss's office, we had a 10-minute conversation where she indeed told me I was being let go. They were restructuring, and I'm like, okay, and I sat there really unimpressed, not really caring that I was getting let go. I truly hated that job. It was a job of survival at that point, and it was one of the worst places I had ever worked at. So she was surprised that I wasn't surprised, didn't really care much. I went back to my computer. I was allowed to empty everything I didn't want there, my personal items on the computer. I went on Microsoft Teams. I said goodbye to my teammates, told them I had been let go, and that was that. There was no tears, there was no drama. I just walked out and had a bomb-ass weekend. So before we move forward, I'm gonna let you know that I am Gen X. But before you walk away from this video, what I'm gonna tell you is universal. You can be Gen Z, you can be a millennial, you can even be a boomer who might still be working and you might be having problems finding a job. What I'm gonna tell you is universal. This applies to everyone and anyone who's looking for a job. When the layoff happened, I didn't jump right into my job search. I did go to LinkedIn and say, hey guys, my time at XYZ is over. I was let go today. But that was it. I didn't start panic applying everywhere. I didn't automatically jump into my new identity as an unemployed person. It actually took 11 days. Not 11 days of being depressed or sad, not 11 days of asking why me, not 11 days of freaking out and figuring out what I'm going to do with myself. Instead, it was 11 days of me accepting what was. I cooked a lot. I walked in the parks in my neighborhood a lot. I rearranged things in my house. I even played video games, New World Eternum, Assassin's Creed Origins, and Red Dead Redemption 2, which are oldies but goodies. I did that because when a job ends, it's not just your paycheck. Your job is your routine. It is what you do every day. For many, it's your social circle. So when it's gone, you have to fill that time with something else. And I filled it with a lot of peaceful and, for me, fun things to do. I need to find a job. I'm trying to find one by the end of October, and today is September 8th. When I was finally ready to start my job search, I did not start with a resume. Instead, I started with a notebook, and I asked myself one question. What was the value I brought into every space that I worked in? No job titles, no responsibilities, just impact. What impact did I make on the companies that I had worked in? What came out of the question was this: I create structure in chaos. I build relationships. I help teams run more smoothly. I give executives their time back by taking things off their plate. And I solve problems quickly without wanting or needing the spotlight. Those things were constants. Those were my strengths. Those are my gifts. And before I applied to a single job, I needed to remind myself of all of those things that I bring to the table, so I can have the confidence to go back out there and do this whole job search all over again. Because I was not starting from scratch. I was starting from experience with many skills and lots of knowledge. Once I knew my value, I needed to make sure that the real world knew it too. So I updated my resume, not to sound impressive, but to reflect what most employers are looking for. I made sure it was short, clear, and concise, and I used real numbers to exemplify the impact I had with the successes of what I brought to the table. I then updated my LinkedIn to match my resume. It really needed to tell the story of what I offer, the strengths I have, the things that recruiters and hiring managers are looking for. It is the who I am, how I can help, and who I work best with. That's the story I wanted LinkedIn to tell. And when I started my job search, I did post to LinkedIn a little bit, not to overshare, but just to make sure people knew I existed. It's kind of like opening the blinds or turning the lights on when you're home so people know you're there. So here is the system I used to help find the job, okay? I'm gonna go step by step what I did. This is not gonna take long because it's really not that complicated. So on September 8th, when I finally started sending out resumes, I did not chase everything. I created a rhythm, something human, something sustainable. During my job search, I only looked for jobs for about 3 to 4 hours a day. That's it. Not 8, not 12. I know a lot of people say that looking for a job is a full-time job. Only if you don't have proper systems set in place. If you have a plan that's gonna optimize your time, it shouldn't take more than a couple hours, 2 or 3, maybe 4 hours a day, but that's about it. So what did I do? Well, here is how I scheduled my week. On Mondays, I applied to jobs via the job boards. That's LinkedIn, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, and I used Google search. If you want a video on how to use Google search to find a job, I will do that for you. Let me know in the comment box below. It is amazing. I found jobs in Google search that I did not see on any job board anywhere else. And so I was super excited about it, and it actually changed everything because the job I wound up getting, I saw through Google search. And I didn't do any endless scrolling. I was very intentional, and I only applied to the jobs that I felt I could thrive in. I did not want another job that was gonna suck the soul out of me. On Tuesday, I looked at a list of 20 companies in New York City that I really wanted to work at, and I would go every week and to their job boards and look to see if they have new jobs posted. Some had new jobs every week, some didn't, and that was fine. I actually had, I think by the time I had about 32 by the time I had found my job. I had 32 companies on there, but I think I started with 15 and built it up to like 20, 25, and then I think 32. You should always have a list of companies that you really want to work at and go to their job boards on a regular basis, because oftentimes they won't go to job boards. You have to go to their corporate sites, and that's what I did. Wednesday, I searched only city and state government jobs. Now this meant going to nyc.gov/jobs or something to that effect, or if it's New York State, whatever the New York State job website is, and I focused on those jobs. The city has more jobs than the state, but the state often has jobs in New York City area, so I did check them, and there were quite a few jobs for executive assistant or office. That's what I do. There were quite a few jobs that would get posted on a regular basis, especially with the city, on the city site. So I did have interviews with agencies from there as well. So it was definitely a great option. Thursday, I reached out to staffing firms. I just generally would check out their website. Every week they would have new jobs. Then I would submit my resume. If I could find the recruiter specifically that was looking for that role, I would send it to them directly. But usually I went to their website and just hit apply. But what I did specifically after that was I called the agency and said, hey, I just submitted my resume for this job. You know, I'm actively looking. I really think this might be a really good fit for me. Do you have a moment to talk about it? Or, you know, if I could find someone to talk to about it. And that worked sometimes. It worked about a third of the time. The rest of the time was like, oh, well, we'll review your resume, and if you fit, we'll call you. And that's fine too. I worked for a staffing firm. I know that's how it works. And that's fine. Sometimes I never heard back from them, and that's fine too. I have no negative feelings when I don't hear back from my app. I do, however, have negative feelings if I interview with you and I send you a thank you letter and you do not, and you ghost me. That's when I have an issue. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Friday was my networking day. I went to LinkedIn. I went to some groups and I would network with people in groups. I would also DM people that I was connected to. Now, here's the thing. I never said, hey, do you have a job for me? Can you help me find a job? I'm looking for a job. Can you send my resume to your manager? Whatever. I never did that. As a matter of fact, while everyone knew I was looking for a job, I never said anything about looking for a job. I was always talking about, you know, what is their job like? How are things going with other people? I did not go into those conversations trying to get someone else to help me. As a matter of fact, I wound up helping other people, send them links to jobs and helping people with their resumes and cover letters, things like that. It was just a way to build relationships. And I did that. A lot of the time, many jobs come from referrals. Many of them. The one I got did not, but many of them do. So if you have not created a relationship circle around you of people who could maybe help you find a job, you're gonna have to go out and look for that. And that's what I did. That's all I did on Fridays. I didn't do anything else. I didn't send many applications unless I saw something that was outrageously awesome and I really wanted it. I would send it, but I didn't generally do that. So the next thing I did, once I got an interview and I was scheduled to interview with people, I made sure to research the people I was interviewing and the company. I always check the missing pages. I check the news press releases and news releases they had for each company, if there were any. I wanted to know what was important to them. So their mission and value statements are very important. You have to know that inside and out and how it relates to the job. You also, when you interview, need to be able to share that information, how your skills, your drive relates to the mission of the company. So I would also make sure I'm very prepared for any and every interview. When they ask me, oh, what do you know about us? I could spill off 4 or 5 different things about the company. You know, where they originated from, when they originated, who was their founder, a couple of words from their mission statement. And at the end of that, I could say, and because of that, I'm very excited to have this conversation with you. You have to do that. You absolutely have to research every company you work for. Know who you're meeting with. Know what the company stands for and what's important to them. And the last thing I did is something that I didn't realize had as much impact until I was complimented on it by 3 different employers. I send a personal, individual thank you letter every time I interview. I sent one that reiterated why I was a good fit for the job and why I wanted the role. That I reiterate what they said and how it connects to my skills and experience and knowledge for the role. And I've got three compliments on my letter. And I even had one person say, this is the best letter I've ever received. It doesn't even just show your interest in the job. It shows that you can write. So many people can't write anymore. So that was a big deal. And it builds a relationship. It makes you memorable. And if you really are interested in a thank you letter, I do have a video and I'll put it in the description box below. On November 3rd, I walked into the offices of my new employer. It was not the first offer of employment I received. It was not the fastest offer, but it was the one that's right for me right now. So that means the day I walked into that office, from the time I started my job search, it was only 56 days. I didn't rush the process. I didn't act desperate in my actions or my behaviors in interviews. I found a job that was aligned with the culture, the people, and the mission of the company. All because I followed a process that not only was consistent, but provided me still with a lot of time to do what I wanted to do. I redecorated my apartment for fall completely. I was outside a lot. I did some shopping. I did a lot of cooking and cleaning and just playing games and making content. I did all of that while I was looking for a job. But if you want to talk numbers, I got numbers for you. So the total number of resumes I submitted was 251, and that's not a lot in order to find a job. Most people are sending out 2 or 3 times as much. Maybe a lot more. Some people have claimed that they sent over 1,000 before they found a job. So 251 was a really good number. Because of those 251 applications, I did get 18 interviews. Of those, I met with 8 different companies. Of those 18 interviews, 4 were final rounds. 1 rejected me right away after the interview for whatever reason, said they found a better fit, which was fine. 1 gave me an offer, but I declined it because I didn't really want to work for the company. Wasn't really. 1 I'm actually still waiting to hear back on. They said they would get back to me in a few weeks. I haven't heard back from them yet. That one was an exciting job. And the 4th one is the one I accepted. Now, the one I accepted was supposed to be a temporary role only for a few months, but I found out later that it is a temp to perm role because the person I was covering is no longer coming back to the company. So that role is mine. Every step I took mattered. I showed consistency. I did everything with confidence. I made sure my resume, my interviews were high quality, and I made sure to show gratitude after every interview. That's all I did. I didn't do anything magical. I do have quite a bit of experience, and I have a lot of dynamic experience that's spread across operations, human resources, talent acquisition, and marketing. Even though I am generally an executive assistant, I have a very well-rounded set of skills, and I am eager to use all of them at whatever job I take. Any employer who hires me is definitely getting a great deal. So I wanted to say that if you are looking for a job right now, just breathe. I know it's challenging. We're in one of the worst job markets ever, even from the housing bubble in 2008 to 9, something like that. That was terrible. This is worse. You are not too young. You are not outdated. You are not invisible. You are not unskilled. You have value, and your value does not disappear just because you lose your job or you're unemployed. I see you, and I want the best for you. So I want you to try the steps I've taken. I want you to try them for yourself. Go to the video I did about job tracking as well, and I'll share that in the the video description. Actually, I'm gonna share my website where I have all these templates posted. I'm gonna share my website link, and from there you can see all of the templates that I have. I will also post the videos related to those templates so you can see how I use them. Do that in the comment box below. Comment what generation you're in. If you are looking for a job, let us know what kind of job you're looking for, how long you've been looking, and what state you're in. Maybe someone out there can help you get a job too. That's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and really, I wish the best for all of you. Truly, I want you to find a job. If there's anything I can help you, any kind of information that you need from me, let me know. Maybe I can make a video on it in the future. That's all I've got for you today. Peace out.